Good morning, students. Yesterday we discussed the function of language. It is to communicate. And language is in the form of a structure made by words encoded with a meaning by the encoder. Encoder means speaker. And it is transmitted to the listener or the reader. And the listener or the reader decodes it to find out the meaning, and he gets the sense of it, sense of the encoded sentence or word. That is what we learned. Today we go further. Language has to language has two functions. One is individual function, INDIVIDUAL, individual function. And the second one is group function, that is social function in the society. Otherwise we may call it speech community, SPWCH, speech community. Then passing information is the primary function of any language. Passing information is the primary function of language. For example, conveying essential commands. Simply open your book, take notes, stand up, sit down, come here, are all commands that the speaker transmits to the listener. Then Geoffrey Finch, GEOFFREY, Geoffrey Finch, FINCH. Geoffrey Finch is a linguist. He distinguishes further fundamental functions of languages as micro function and macro function. Micro function is personal, individual, and it can be of two types. To release our nerves or physical energy, PHYSICAL, physical energy, bodily energy. Physiological function of language refers to sudden outburst of emotions. For example, excitement, anger, happiness, etc. To express that, we use our physical actions also, like striking, clapping, hitting on the desk, smashing, etc. So bodily actions will be there, gestures will be there to convey our idea along with facial expressions. Then altogether is called release of nerves or physical energy, is the micro function of the language in a person. That is individual function. The second one is phallic communion. phallic, PHALIC, phallic communion or social contact, language used for social interaction, language used for social interaction or communication. This is otherwise also known as social pattern, PATTER, social pattern, meaningful chattering. Social pattern means meaningful chattering, not making some sounds, nonsensical sounds or blabbing. It is meaningful transferring of ideas by way of chattering. It is to maintain social contact between persons, teacher and students in a classroom, manager and the staff in an office, like husband and wife and children in a family. Is social pattern is used, chatter is used to interact, to make social contact or rapport. Then the language of chit chat is used. This language of chit chat is used to signal the social interaction of an individual. Phallic language, or otherwise it is known as grooming talking. Talking to groom people. GROOM, groom people. Then it is a contact initiation. It's a contact initiation. Social courtesies, COURTESIES, social courtesies. It may be spoken or written. This phallic language, grooming talking, may be communication may be in the form of spoken or written. Then it helps to begin a cordial talk, warmly talk, interaction effectively, and also to end the talk happily. For example, good morning, the usage of good morning, good evening. Then how do you do? Or how are you? Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me or excuse me. Both pronunciations are used to start with a discussion or a conversation or a dialogue. Then to end this discussion, talk or dialogue, we use goodbye. Okay, see you, goodbye, and see you again. AGAIN, again. Some people read it as again, again. See you again. Take care. TAKECARE. Take care. Have a nice time. Take care or have a nice time, etc. We use such phrases to conclude our discussion, conclude our interaction, conclude or talk. Then sound modulations will be there. To express our intimacy, sound modulations will be there. Pitch variations will be there. Rhythm will change. Rhythm of speech will change. Wow, you speak English very nicely. That is an encouraging sentence. Can you speak English? Is a question in different sense. Such variations of sounds may give different sense of meaning. Then, if you read a poem Kubla Khan by Coleridge, S.T. Coleridge, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, you can feel the rhythmic mood that fascinates us in the poem. The next point is macro function of language. Macro use of language is general, that is applicable to society as a whole. Michael Holiday, Michael, Michael Holiday, Hallliday, Hallliday, Michael Holiday describes this macro function as meta functions. METAFUNCTIONS, meta functions. It can have common mental process. The language to identify things. Language to identify things. So we use language to identify things. For example, SEAC is different from SEEC, or look, LOOK, is different from BOOK, book. ROSE, rose, is different from prose, PROSE. Like that. A word is a sign. A word is a sign with a meaning encoded in it. Every word, every sign, every symbol has a meaning encoded in it, and the listener decodes it and grasps the idea, grasps the meaning of the encoded symbol, word, or we may call sign. Then the interpersonal function of the language is there. Interpersonal function. This is the function of personal introduction, public communication, phallic communication, or rapport making. Just before the beginning of the class, teacher may ask you some questions to make you comfortable, not to punish you or give you impositions to test you, but it is to make a rapport, an agreement of minds, tuning of minds with the thoughts of the teacher and the students. We use this language. It's a macro function. Then interpersonal function. Poetic function is there for the language. That is the third item, poetic function. Poetic function is organized violence on ordinary speech. This is literary usage. Organized violence means well planned attack on ordinary use of the language. That means word order may change, structure may change. Double negatives may be used. Subject may come at the end of the language usage. And sentence making may be in disorder, not in order. To set a beautiful rhyme, keep beautiful rhythm, you have to distort the ordinary structural use of the language. That is why we call it the poetry is the organized violence upon ordinary language system. Language system. Language system. SYSTEM. Then Roman Jacobson. ROMAN JACOBSON. Jacobson. Roman Jacobson. He gives us this idea. Literary work stood in complex relation to other use of the language. He explains this poetic usage as like this. It is a use of language, but it is not like other use of language. It is a complex one. Why it is complex? Because the structural complexity will be there. Choice of vocabulary will be different. And simile, metaphor, personification, and other figures of speech will be there. Then, so poetry is different from prose. It is different from common talk. Language will be in a different way. We use the poetic language in a different way with a different structure perhaps. So that is why Roman Jacobson said literary work stood in complex relation to the uses of language. Okay. A verbal message can be a work of art. Verbal message can be a work of art. For example, I shall give you an example of it in Malayalam first. Balamani Amma, mother of Kamala Surya or Kamala Das. When Kamala Das was a little baby in a cradle, തൊട്ടിൽ ഉറങ്ങുമ്പോൾ ബാലാമണി അമ്മ with a feeling sung thus. അമ്മ മന്ദമായാട്ടുന്ന തൊട്ടിലിൽ തൻ മകളുണ്ടുറങ്ങിക്കിടക്കുന്നു, കാറ്റുലയ്ക്കും സരസിൻ്റെ ഓളത്തിൽ കാണുമാമ്പലിൻ മുട്ടെന്ന പോലവേ. അമ്മ മന്ദമായിട്ട് തൊട്ടിലാട്ടുമ്പോൾ അതിൽ ആമ്പൽമുട്ട് പോലെ ഉള്ള കുഞ്ഞ് ചാഞ്ചാടുന്നു. എങ്ങനെ? കാറ്റുലയ്ക്കുന്ന സരസിൽ, പൊയ്കയിൽ, തടാകത്തിലെ ഓളത്തിൽ ആമ്പൽമുട്ട് ഉലയുന്നത് പോലെ, ആടുന്നത് പോലെ എന്നുള്ള മനോഹരമായ ആ പ്രയോഗം. So it is an art, work of art. When we hear this song very attentively, the feeling of pond, waves, and the flower of water lily, the bud of water lily can be imagined. That picture is formed in our mind. The movement is very beautifully presented in our mind. So, listen once again. I shall sing it. അമ്മ മന്ദമായാട്ടുന്ന തൊട്ടിലിൽ തൻ മകളുണ്ടുറങ്ങിക്കിടക്കുന്നു. കാറ്റുലയ്ക്കും സരസിൻ്റെ യോളത്തിൽ കാണുമാമ്പലിൻ മൊട്ടെന്ന പോലവേ. See, the whole picture is there in your mind. So enjoying, so pleasing, so attractive was the presentation of her child Kamala by Balamani Amma. Okay, this is what a poet does. Another from Tintanaby lines of William Wordsworth. He tells us, just like Quran, observe the nature. Nature will teach you. Nature is the best teacher who can give you instructions. Nature is full of instructions. Observe nature. It is the proof of God's creation and creativity of God. William Wordsworth in Tintanaby lines writes, one impulse from a vernal wood can teach you more of man, of moral evil and of good, than all the sages can. How nicely he speaks. One impulse, ഒരു ചലനം മതി, can teach you more of man, മനുഷ്യനെ കുറിച്ച് പഠിപ്പിക്കാൻ. From a vernal wood, കന്യാവനത്തിൽ നിന്ന്, വെട്ടിനശിപ്പിക്കപ്പെട്ടവനല്ല, ഹരിതാഭമായ വനത്തിൽ നിന്ന്. ഒരു ഇളംകാറ്റിൽ ഒരു ചെറിയ ചലനം മതി നമ്മളെ പഠിപ്പിക്കാൻ. ദൻ ഓൾ ദ സേജസ് ക്യാൻ, എല്ലാ പണ്ഡിതന്മാരെക്കാളും പുരോഹിതന്മാരെക്കാളും പുണ്യവാളന്മാരെക്കാളും നമ്മളെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ പഠിപ്പിക്കാൻ, ദൈവികത പഠിപ്പിക്കാൻ വൺ ഇമ്പൾസ് ഫ്രം എ വെർണൽ വുഡ് വിൽ be able. So I shall recite once again. One impulse from a vernal wood can teach you more of man, of moral evil and of good, than all the sages can. Okay. So, language is functional. It has individual function, it has group function, it is used for socialization and interaction and interpersonal communication. Then, as Roman Jacobson told us, language is a work of art also. Sometimes as an organized violence on ordinary language. It is entirely different from emotive functions. Okay. So, let us conclude our class today and continue next day. Let's listen to this class, write notes on functions of language, micro and macro. Okay, just enjoy the poems, two sections in Malayalam and English. I recited for you. Thank you.